There you go. Like the video, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay. Please do. Um, so yeah, please do that. And I'm gonna remind you before we leave out of here to do it again. But again, thank you guys for joining me on today in this week's Tuesday Tip at 2. My name is Danielle J. Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate. And again, we're talking about how do you qualify to buy a home or they are essentially the same. Um, Qualify for a loan. Okay, so we're going to be talking. I'm not going to get too detailed, but I want to give you kind of a general idea of what it looks like to understand if you qualify for a home. So first things first, when I do my free consultations, which I'll share the link for that in a little bit, but one of the things why I say let's have a consultation is because I like to give, of course, clients kind of an overview of the home buying process or home selling, if that's what we're talking about. But today we're kind of focusing in on buyers. I like to have that consultation because I have to ask you some questions, right? I have to ask you these basic questions to see if you're able to qualify for a mortgage, right? So I got to see where you are as a buyer. What stage might you be in? Either way, I always take my my clients, my potential clients. I always invest the time to see where they are, right, and see where they could use some tips or need some helps. Okay, so some of the questions that I ask, of course, what's your credit score? What's your work history looking like? Um, and I really don't ask about the debt to income ratio. I leave that to the lender, but I do ask how much are you able to afford, right? How much you are able to afford, because at the end of the day, the loan officer is going to go off of your debt to income ratio, and you may have that pretty much your pre-approval amount may be more. You might get approved for more than you want to spend or you're willing to spend, or it might be less than what you feel as though you can afford. Okay, so I always like to kind of get these questions out the way when I do these virtual consultations, as well as ask, how much savings do you have, those kinds of questions. So that is the purpose, right? So to get an idea of what you want in a home, all that stuff, yes, it's great. But the first thing I want to do is make sure we can go ahead and get you pre-approved for a mortgage. Okay, so that's why I ask those questions. So as I mentioned before, some of the qualifying factors on whether you are ready to purchase a home, right, particularly get pre-approved by a lender, is your credit score, right? So we have to determine if your credit score is where it needs to be. Now, in this COVID, quarantine era that we're in, currently, you need about a 600 typically for a FHA. Okay. Before it was lower, but like I said, since quarantine and COVID and everything like that, it is about 600. Okay. I always tell my clients the higher the better, right? Because you want to make sure you get a decent interest rate, all that good stuff. But 600 for a FHA loan. Okay. FHA loan, I've talked about this many times, but to reiterate, FHA allows you to put down 3.5%. Okay. FHA goes by what the interest rate for the housing market is. Okay. So if the national average for interest rates are at 3%, then likely your FHA loan will be around 3%. Okay. And which is fantastic, right? So yeah, that's it for FHA. Now, for a conventional, you'll need about a 640 credit score. Of course, the higher the better, because of course you get better interest rates and everything like that. Also, it may affect how much you need to put down towards your conventional loan, which can be anywhere between 3% to 20% for a conventional loan. Okay. When you put down 20%, you do not have to get what's called a PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. It's the insurance that the mortgage company takes out on you just in case you default. It protects them. It does not protect you. So if you put down less than 20% down payment, yes, you will have to pay PMI, which is, it could be a couple $100 extra in your mortgage. Okay. Now you can qualify for certain programs that I think it's called PHFA. I hope I said that right. Which that is a federally funded program that helps you with your down payment assistance. I think there's an income requirement as well as I know that the credit score requirement is around 660, and they pay for your down payment costs. Okay. So that's credit score. So those are just some numbers to throw out there. Bottom line is the higher the better, because you have to, again, you know, think about your interest if you want to keep it as low as possible. But, it's good to know this thing because, where your credit score is now, you need to know it's not impossible to possibly get a house now. And as I tell people all the time, you can always refinance at some point. If you feel as though you want to get a lower interest rate, you pay your payments, extra payments, they'll send stuff in the mail talking about, hey, you want to refinance, we can get it lower, we can get you this interest rate, all that good stuff. So just something to consider. Here's another thing, always say secure the house. Secure the house. So job history. So the thing about job history, I want to talk about these 3 factors when it comes to making sure that you have a good job history. Number 1, it has to be 2 years at the same job or the same type of job. Okay. Other thing to consider is that you switch jobs. If you did switch jobs, you have to have been at your newest job for at least 6 months. So, and we're talking about a seamless, switch, right? Where, hey, I was interviewing for a job. I put in my 2 weeks notice and, I had a seamless, switching of jobs. You just found a new one. Fantastic. Long as there's no like lapses and stuff in between, then that's fine. The third thing, they determine if you can qualify for exceptions. So, for example, if there is some kind of lapse in your work history, they will, because of school, right? Or you could be young, right, and just coming out of school, and maybe you only been working for a year after college or something, or high school, because I'll never forget my youngest client was 19. So, they will factor in your schooling. Okay, they will factor that in. The other thing is an excused break. All right. So if you have some kind of excused breaks, I'm not exactly sure what those examples are, but DM me and I will certainly find out the answer. But yeah, so those are the 3 things to consider in regards to your work history. All right. The third thing, which is the big thing, right, that is determined whether you can get qualified for a loan or not, is your DTI. I've talked about this a lot before. Your DTI, debt to income ratio. Okay. So typically, number 1, you want that to be under 50%. It has to be under 50%. And so the math on that is that your debt is divided by your gross income, and it needs to be less than 50%. Okay, so that's the simple way to put it, right? So what is your monthly debt? Your monthly debt is your minimum monthly payments, right? So let's say you have some credit cards. Okay, your minimum monthly payment is $28 or $25 or $50, whatever that is. It's not going to be what's outstanding that's factored in. It's going to be what your minimum monthly payment is, right? So let's say that's $50 for your credit card. So, and then maybe you have a car loan, okay? Your car loan for your vehicle. So you have to factor that in. Maybe you have a personal loan. That would be something that's factored in as well. Maybe your minimum payments is, $60 a month or something like that. So those would be your minimum payment that would be determined in figuring out your DTI, okay? Your DTI, debt to income ratio. And then what's added in there is your potential mortgage, okay? Your potential mortgage, all right? And so all those things are tallied up and a part of determining that. So when you start doing all the math, if you can come in at 43%, then you're good to go, okay? As far as your DTI ratio. And again, we can talk into more detail if you DM me, or we have a virtual consultation, okay? So some tips. Um, Say that your DTI, your debt to income ratio, maybe it's higher. Maybe it's higher than 50%. Maybe it's at that 50%. Maybe you want to be pre-approved for more money. Okay. And you know what you're pre-approved for is not good enough for you. Some things that you can do is pay down your debt. Okay. Um, you know, hopefully get a promotion, demand a promotion, get more money, or start Ubering, you know, just having more income. Um, Somehow make your monthly payments go down in some way, shape, or form. And so these are kind of some things that you can do as far as, and sometimes people will say, you know, maybe I should pay off my credit cards. Again, it depends if you're, because maybe you owe, you know, $500 on a credit card, but what's only being factored in again is the minimum payment. Okay, so it's not the whole balance that's being factored in; it's the minimum payment that you will have to pay monthly for that credit card. Okay, hope that makes sense. Another factor, if you have an FHA loan, can be your student loans. If you have federally funded student loans, so that's a little extra tip. If you have federally funded student loans, and you're trying to get an FHA mortgage, that may not work. Okay, it may not work for you. So because they're going to with the FHA loan, I believe they factor in the minimum payments for your student loans. All right. So listen, for more details on this stuff, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you can do to get more details. Number one, you can comment on YouTube or whatever platform that you will see this on, which is probably mainly YouTube, or you can go to book.djmrealtyco.com, book.djmrealtyco.com, and we can talk about it. Free consultation via Zoom. Book it. You'll get a Zoom link from me, and we could talk about what qualifies you to get a home if you can get pre-approved. That is all for today. I think I kept it pretty. I think I kept it pretty short today, which is which is good. That is all for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's and this week's Tuesday Tip or Two. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you again. Oh, one more thing. Listen, if you want to redeem the free home inspection, I don't know what you guys are waiting for, but I'm waiting for you. So if you would like to redeem it, I'm giving you one more day to redeem it. You can do so. All right. And lastly, remember to do what? Like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay. Thank you all again. And remember, there's no place like home. No place like home buying. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.